What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Singleton Sunday here on Eternal Journey, where we take 100 card Singleton decks and battle them out to find out whose creativity reigns supreme. Just as a friendly reminder, if you're enjoying the content that we are putting out, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and click the alerts button so you get notified whenever a new video comes out every Sunday. Also, you can follow us on Twitter, EJthePodcast, where we also post whenever a new video goes up, stay up to date on possible deck builds, as well as when we are going live. Speaking of live streaming, you can follow me at twitch.tv/Jedi_EJ. All right, guys, thanks again, and let's head down to the match. I keep an opening hand with Temple Standard, Secret Pages, Temple Scribe, Cabal Cutthroat, Shadowlands Bone Picker, Shadow Sigil, and Family Charter. Lustful Sin keeps a hand with 2 Fire Sigils, a Seek Power, Hardsight Cyclops, Assembly Line, Firemane Lioness, and Prior Adept. I draw for turn, play Shadow Sigil, and then play Family Charter, scouting and placing a Time Sigil on top. Lustful is then going to play a second Fire Sigil, followed by a Prayer Adept, and then passing the turn. I am then going to play the Time Sigil I just drew, followed up with a Cutthroat Cabal, and then passing the turn. Lustful Sin will play a Primal Sigil, followed up with an Assembly Line, making 3 Grenadin tokens, and then electing to attack with the 3/1, I choosing not to block. On my next turn, I play a Temple Standard depleted and followed up with a Temple Scribe, drawing a card and passing the turn. Lustful Sin draws for turn, plays a Primal Sigil, and then after a little bit of debating, realizes they have no good attacks and passes the turn. I draw for turn, missing my power drop, so I decide to go ahead and play a Sanctuary Priest and a Blistering Wasp and passing the turn back to Lustful Sin. Lustful Sin then plays a Firemane Lioness and proceeds to attack with the 3/1 and all 3 Grenadins. Unbeknownst to me, I smell out a trick but block accordingly and end up winning combat, leaving behind only the Firemane. With no follow-up plays, they go ahead and pass the turn back to me. I proceed to draw for turn, but tired of missing my power drops, I go ahead and decide to pass the turn back, leaving open Secret Pages. Lustful Sin draws for turn, of note not making a power drop. They play a Hardsight Cyclops and decide to attack with the Lazy Firemane for some reason. I go ahead and block with the Wasp, killing it with Deadly, leaving my guy alive, and then end their turn by playing my Secret Pages. For my turn, I simply cast Xenon Cupbearer, and seeing no good attacks, I pass back the turn. On their turn, they play a Fire Sigil, followed by a Skycrag Wyvern, and decide not to use its killer ability this turn. Since I once again miss a power drop, and I don't want to play anything out that can die to the 3/3 killer, I go ahead and pass back the turn. Lustful plays an Outland Sniper, dealing 2 damage to my Cutthroat, killing it, and then passes. I draw and play a Power Stone, and pass again. After a long debate, they finally use their 3/3 killer on my Wasp, killing both of our units, and then passing back. With the killer finally off the board, I see my opening to play my Totic Wisp, and with the discount, I follow up with a Preserver of Dualities, which earns me a free Wisp token. Lustful Sin then plays a Fire Sigil for turn, and passes. For my turn, I draw and play a Shadow Sigil. This triggers the life gain on my Sanctuary Priest, which I then use to play a Voyaging Lumen. This triggers the Preserver that wins me a Wisp, as well as ending my turn, I gain life and earning a second Wisp token for the turn. For their turn, Lustful plays a Stonescar Maul, using it to attack my Voyaging Lumen, killing it. This triggers my Totic Wisp, and then she passes the turn. For my turn, I play a Time Sigil, triggering the Priest, gaining 1 life. Then I cast a Shadowlands Bone Picker, and finally get around to using my Preserver's ability to pump a 1/1 Wisp with a +2/+0 and attack. Lustful Sin decides not to block. and I pass the turn. Lustful Sin then plays a Primal Sigil and follows it up with a Thunderstrike Dragon, Roar, and then passes the turn. For my turn, I play a Time Sigil triggering Priest, gaining 1 life, and then finally having enough power and an opening, I sacrifice Family Charter to draw 2. Not seeing any good attacks thanks to the dragon, I pass the turn. Lustful Sin proceeds to cast the Twin for the Thunderstrike Dragon, not only causing me to groan, but also reminding me that I forgot my Preserver's pump ability on my turn. Sigh. I start my turn by playing a Shadow Sigil, triggering the Priest and gaining 1 life. I then remember to pump the 3/1 Wisp, using the Preserver's ability to a 5/1. I follow up by playing a Lumen Defender, gaining 5 and triggering the Preserver, earning another 1/1 Wisp, and then end my turn. And the hits keep on coming as the Lustful Sin plays Caleb the Uncrowned Prince. Once he enters the battlefield, this places a random weapon on himself, the Hard Sight Cyclops, and the Outland Sniper. Lustful Sin then attacks with Caleb and both dragons to my dismay. In a panic, I flash in my Scorpion Wasp, blocking the Caleb and taking 10 from the dragons. Scorpion Wasp dying triggers my Totic Wisp and she passes. For my turn, I use the Preserver to pump another Wisp into a 3/1. With the dragons exhausted, I deceive my opening and decide to attack with the 5/1 Wisp, okay with trading. Lustful Sin decides that the trade is okay as well and blocks with the Sniper, returning the Steelfang Chakram the Sniper had gotten from Caleb earlier in the game. Back to their hand. I played a Corrupted Umbran, triggering Preserver, earning me another Wisp, and pass. Lustful Sin starts their turn by playing a Cloud Snake Hatchling and then placing the recently earned Chakram on it, making it a 5/2 flyer. She then attacks with only 1 dragon this time, and I use the Annihilate in my hand to destroying it. With nothing else going on, she passes the turn. For my turn, I play a Time Sigil triggering Priest, gaining 1. Then activate Bone Picker's ability for 5 power, giving it a +2/+1. I exhaust the Preserver, making the 3/1 Wisp into a 5/1, and pass. Lustful Sin plays a Primal Sigil, followed by a Yeti Snowslinger, and then passes back. For my turn, I play a Shadow Sigil, triggering the Priest, gaining 1 life. Activate the Preserver to make a new Wisp a 3/1. Activate the Bone Picker's ability to make it a 7/5, and then pass. On their turn, Lustful Sin plays Ice Sprites, freezing my Bone Picker, and then decides to attack with the Chakram Toting Hatchling. I make no blocks and take 5 to the face. For my turn, I play a Time Sigil triggering Priest, realizing it has done some serious work this game. I then activate the Preserver, making the 5/1 into a 7/1 Wisp, and attack. Sadly, Lustful Sin has the Lightning Strike to take it out. This hits the final trigger for the Mitotic Wisp, and I search up a Dustwalker. I immediately play the Dustwalker, triggering Nightfall, and the Preserver, making another Wisp before passing the turn. On her turn, Lustful Sin casts Polymorph on my Preserver of Dualities, but I respond with Devour, sacrificing it to draw 2 cards and gain 2 life. She then attacks with the Hatchling for 5, and I take it. I start my turn by casting Cruciation on the Ice Sprite, unlocking my Bone Picker and gaining 2 life. I then pump the Bone Picker, play an Ancient Bauble, activate it to gain another life. I follow up by casting Harbinger's Bite to deal 2 damage to my opponent and gain 2, as well as trigger Nightfall. And just for good measure, I attack with the Lumen Defender for 1. Lustful Sin starts their turn by casting Temper, dealing 1 damage to my Wisp and killing it. They follow up with a Jaraw's Frostkin, stunning my Bone Picker. Man, that dino can't catch a break this game, it feels like. The next, they attack in the air again with Hatchling, and this time bringing the dragon along with it. I decide to take the full 10 to the face, and they pass it back. I start my turn by playing Infinite Hourglass, giving all my units endurance, breaking the stun off the Bone Picker. I then pump the Bone Picker, making it 11/7, and finally swinging with everything. Lustful Sin blocks the Cupbearer with the 3/3, the Bone Picker with the Yeti, and my Dustwalker with their Cyclops. All in all, we make some trades, and they go down to 5 life. I follow up with Gathering Light, making 2 Wisps and gaining 11 life. I then proceed to cast Amethyst Ring and activate the bauble to gain 1 life before passing it back. Lustful Sin plays a 5/5 Storm Dancer with flying and passes. I draw for turn and play Dark Return on my Voyaging Lumen, making it a 6/6 and replaying it. I then activate Bauble to gain life, triggering the Lumen even though I already have a full board. I then swing with the team again, giving Berserk to my Corrupted Umbran. After doing some math, Lustful Sin decides they've had enough and take lethal, ending the game. Alright ladies and gentlemen, time for my closing thoughts. The recent hero event Direwolf had sparked the idea of starting to do games like this, somewhat mimicking MTG Commander for those of you that play Magic the Gathering. I really do hope that Direwolf in the future has a way of implementing that hero system we used in the event for future so we really can play Commander. I stuck to the 100 card Singleton version versus the 75 that they did for the event, once again going back to the Commander route. That being said, I did think the game was a lot of fun and it went back and forth quite a bit depending on where our units sat on the board. I was going for a Life Force / Wisp theme with my deck, which may or may not have enough cards in just 5 sets to support it in a Singleton version, but overall it operated pretty well and I'll probably continue to tweak it. This is a new adventure for me, so if this was something you enjoyed and would like to see more content like this, please leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, as a reminder, hitting that subscribe button goes a long way towards helping me create more content like this. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you next time.